Welcome back to Andy and Anna Talks. Today we're digging into something you've probably seen everywhere, protein. From shakes to bars to even water, the high protein label is booming.
But is it actually good for you?
It really is having a moment, isn't it?
I
Walk down any grocery aisle and it's like plastered on everything. The big question for you, our listener, is whether this is just clever marketing or if there's solid substance behind the trend. Is a high protein approach genuinely beneficial? Or, is it just another fleeting diet fad?
Let's jump right into it then. We know protein is one of the essential macronutrients your body needs alongside carbs and fats. It's, well, absolutely fundamental. Think of it as the body's main building material, crucial for building and repairing tissues, whether that's muscle, skin, or
That's
organs.
exactly. And it doesn't stop there. Protein plays vital roles in making enzymes that power thousands of chemical reactions, supporting your immune system, transporting molecules. It's involved in just about every core function, really. Right. And unlike carbs or fat, your body doesn't have a large storage depot for protein. That's why getting a consistent intake through your diet is so important. It's especially critical if you're putting demands on your body, maybe you're highly active, or perhaps, you're navigating the changes that come with aging.
Right, yeah. While the baseline to simply prevent deficiency is around zero point 0.8 grams per kilogram of body weight, that's just, well, survival level. If your goals involve building muscle, preserving it while losing fat, or supporting an active lifestyle, you're often looking at targeting significantly higher intakes, usually somewhere between 1.2 to maybe 2 grams per kilogram. It really depends on your specific situation.
Okay, so there's the minimum, and then there's this sort of goal-oriented range. Given all that, it's still a relatively simple nutrient at its core. So why the sudden explosion of high protein, everything, what makes it so appealing right now?
While there are a few key factors that explain its popularity, one of the most impactful benefits, especially for anyone thinking about their weight, is protein's effect on satiety.
Satiety, meaning feeling full.
Exactly. It simply keeps you feeling fuller for longer compared to the same amount of calories from carbs or fats.
So it helps curb those between meal cravings, that sort of thing.
Precisely. That feeling of satisfaction is a powerful tool for managing your food intake. Another major draw, particularly if you're trying to lose weight, is its role in muscle preservation. When you restrict calories, your body can sometimes break down precious muscle tissue for energy. Adequate protein intake helps protect that muscle mass, ensuring that the weight you lose is primarily fat, which is usually the goal.
Yeah, you want to keep the muscle. And then there's that fascinating concept of the thermic effect of food, right?
Yeah.
It takes energy to digest food itself.
Exactly. The thermic effect. Your body actually expends calories just processing what you eat. And protein requires significantly more energy to digest than other macronutrients. We're talking about burning maybe 20–30% of the protein's calories just in the digestion process itself.
Wow, 20 to 30%, that's quite a bit higher than the others.
It really is, especially when you compare it to carbs, which use about 5–10%, and fats, which are very low, maybe 0–3%. So including ample protein in your meals gives you a little metabolic kick just by virtue of your body working harder to break it down.
Okay, that definitely adds up to explain the widespread appeal. But when people talk about a high-protein diet, what does that actually look like in practice? Is it just, eating huge steaks all day?
No, not at all. Not necessarily. It's more about shifting the proportion of your total daily calories that come from protein. In a typical diet, protein might make up only 10–15% of your calories. A high protein diet aims to bump that up significantly, usually into 25–35% range.
That's quite a jump percentage-wise.
It is, and it's about integrating protein strategically across your day. It might mean starting with a protein-rich breakfast, like eggs or maybe Greek yogurt instead of, say, sugary cereal. It could involve making sure your lunch and dinner center around a solid protein source, think chicken, fish, beans, tofu. Maybe it means adding a protein shake if you struggle to hit your targets, or consciously choosing protein-rich snacks.
So not just one big protein meal, but spreading it out.
Exactly. It's about making protein a cornerstone of each meal, not just an afterthought.
Got it. Being intentional about protein throughout the day.
Precisely. Now, with all these benefits, it might sound like there's no downside, but we need to look at the potential drawbacks, right? What are some considerations people should be aware of?
Yeah, good point. Nothing's perfect.
Well, there are a few points that warrant attention. One concern sometimes raised is kidney strain. Now, it's crucial to understand that for most healthy individuals with normal kidney function, higher protein intake within reasonable limits isn't shown to cause kidney damage.
Okay, so that's mainly for people who already have issues.
Exactly. This is primarily a concern for individuals who already have existing kidney conditions. They definitely need to be careful.
That's an important distinction. Good to clarify.
Right. Another practical point is hydration. When your body breaks down protein, it produces metabolic waste products like nitrogen, which your kidneys need water to process and excrete. So if you significantly increase your protein intake, you absolutely need to increase your water intake too. Keep things flushing out properly.
Ah, okay. So don't just add protein, remember to add water.
Yes, very important. And sometimes, in the pursuit of high protein, people inadvertently cut too drastically on other essential food groups, especially carbohydrates.
Right, you focus so much on protein, you forget other stuff.
Kind of. If you slash carbs too much, you risk missing out on crucial fiber, vitamins, minerals, and those important antioxidants from fruits, vegetables, and whole grains. The goal is balance within a varied diet, not eliminating entire food groups.
Makes sense. And what about cost? I imagine getting all this protein can add up.
Absolutely. The financial aspect is real for many people. Quality protein sources, whether they're animal-based like lean meats and fish, or good plant-based options, or even supplements, they can represent a significant cost in the grocery budget. That's a practical consideration when planning your diet.
Definitely something to factor in. Speaking of options, is it possible to embrace a high-protein diet if you don't eat meat? Can you do this on a plant-based diet?
Oh, absolutely. Yes, it's entirely achievable. The plant kingdom offers a wealth of excellent protein sources. We're talking about staples like beans, lentils, chickpeas, edamame, tofu, tempeh. Even grains like quinoa contribute meaningful protein. Lots of options.
Those are pretty powerful building blocks, even without meat.
They really are. And you also have plant-based protein powders and alternatives derived from sources like pea, hemp, or soy, which can supplement things. The key strategy for plant-based protein is variety. While individual plant proteins might be lower in one or two of the 9 essential amino acids your body needs.
Ah, the complete protein thing.
Exactly. But by eating a mix of these sources throughout the day, maybe beans and rice or lentils and nuts, you easily ensure you're getting all of them. You cover your bases.
So don't rely on just one source. Mix and match plant proteins.
Precisely. And a significant bonus of focusing on plant proteins is the added fiber and beneficial phytonutrients they provide, which are generally absent in animal protein sources. You're getting more than just protein. You're often getting a broader spectrum of nutrients.
That's a great point. So with all the marketing noise and differing opinions out there, what does the actual scientific research consistently tell us about high-protein diets? Is the hype backed up?
Well, the science generally aligns with the perceived benefits we've talked about. Studies do support higher protein for improved satiety, assisting with fat loss while preserving lean mass, and helping manage blood sugar levels. These effects are relatively well established.
Okay, so there is solid evidence for those key benefits.
There is, but research also underscores that simply adding more protein isn't always the answer. There seems to be an optimal range for different goals, and pushing intake significantly higher than that might not offer additional benefits for most people. Diminishing returns, perhaps. Furthermore, ongoing research continues to explore the potential long-term impacts, particularly regarding excessive intake of certain types of animal protein, like red and processed meats. Some studies have linked high consumption of these to increased risks of heart disease and certain cancers.
Okay, so it's not just about the amount of protein, but also the source and the overall dietary pattern it fits into.
Precisely. Think of strategically increasing protein as a tool to support your health goals, but it needs to fit within a balanced, high-quality diet overall. It shouldn't replace other important food groups entirely.
That makes sense. Use it as a tool. So who then stands to benefit most from specifically focusing on increasing their protein intake? Are there particular groups?
Yes, several groups are particularly good candidates. Individuals actively pursuing fat loss while trying to maintain their muscle are high on that list. Helps keep that muscle while calories are lower. Athletes or very active people generally have increased protein needs for recovery and muscle adaptation from training. Older adults can benefit greatly from higher protein to help counteract sarcopenia, which is age-related muscle loss.
Right, preserving strength as we age.
Exactly. And anyone recovering from illness or surgery where tissue repair is paramount can utilize extra protein effectively.
Okay, and on the flip side, who should perhaps be more cautious or definitely check with a healthcare provider first before jumping on the high-protein bandwagon?
Definitely anyone with pre-existing kidney issues, as we discussed, that's critical. Individuals with conditions like gout, which involves uric acid buildup, often linked to purines and protein, or certain rare inherited metabolic disorders also need to be cautious. They should always consult a doctor or registered dietitian before making significant changes to their protein intake. It's just safer.
Good advice.
Yeah.
And regardless of whether you're in a group that benefits, the emphasis seems to always circle back to choosing high-quality, minimally processed protein sources.
Absolutely, that's key. The benefits we've discussed are largely associated with getting protein from whole foods, lean meats, fish, eggs, legumes, nuts, seeds, tofu, things like that. A diet relying heavily on highly processed protein bars loaded with sugar or large amounts of processed meats like sausage and deli meats. Well, that isn't the same thing at all, even if the protein number looks high.
Right. The quality matters just as much, if not more, than the quantity. Bringing it all together, based on this whole discussion, is the high-protein trend generally justified? What's the verdict?
I lean towards a thoughtful yes, but with important caveats. For many people, consciously including more protein in your diet, especially if it replaces less beneficial foods like refined carbohydrates or sugary snacks, can absolutely be a positive step. It can help with managing appetite, supporting metabolism, and maintaining muscle mass. So, yes, there's justification there.
But it's not a magic bullet, is it?
Far from it. It's just one piece of the puzzle. It works best when integrated into a balanced, varied diet rich in fruits, vegetables, healthy fats, and fiber. Plus, you need adequate hydration and overall healthy habits like exercise and sleep. The principle, more isn't always better. Better is better. Truly applies here. Use protein wisely as a component of your overall healthy lifestyle, not as the only thing you focus on.
That framing makes a lot of sense. Better is better. And as you, our listener, navigate the grocery store aisles and see those high-protein labels absolutely everywhere, here's something to really consider. Don't automatically assume protein equals health. Just because a snack bar or a cereal box boasts a high protein count doesn't automatically make it good for you. You have to look closer.
Yeah, this raises the critical question. What else is in that product? Is it also packed with added sugars, unhealthy fats, sodium, or artificial ingredients that might actually outweigh the protein benefit?
Exactly. Always look past the headline nutritional claim on the front. Question the label. Actually dive into the ingredients list and try to understand what you're eating in the context of your entire diet.
Protein is incredibly important, no doubt, but it's just one powerful element in the larger picture of healthy eating and a healthy lifestyle. Context is everything.